Welcome, everybody, to another episode of Who Diddle Did It, the podcast where we try to figure out who really killed that fiddle-playing feline. Wait, sorry, wrong prompter. This is another episode of HomeKit Insider, the smart home podcast. You got me, Andrew O'Hara, here with my partner in crime, Steven Robles. We did not kill the cat.
No,
just saying, we are not that crime.
No.
Other heist, just not that one.
No, everyone in my family is allergic to cats anyway, so we couldn't even be around them.
That makes sense.
Yeah, exactly.
You want to get rid of that cat.
Well, we didn't do anything with the cat. Nothing on the cat. Hey, what do you think? What do you think of these, Andrew? I got these GIK acoustic panels here behind me. Little squiggly lines. Yeah, panels. So it's fun. No more blanket.
Squiggly lines.
Yeah, no. I have the blanket here if I ever need to just cover myself, but it's never cold in Florida.
Sure.
So I don't have to worry about that.
It's true. I didn't know they had blankets in Florida.
They do. It's rare. It's rare to see it. It's like a leprechaun. But
okay, that makes sense.
Yeah, exactly. Anyway, we have some news here. We got some news and some automation stuff. So new setup. So we'll get into it. One quick shout out. We had a 5-star review. Let me try and get this name right. Wooden Woodwood from Australia. That's quite a username. And thank you for that 5-star review. He said we're the best HomeKit podcast. Thank you, Wooden Woodwood. It's very nice of you to say. Andrew has no idea what to say.
We'll take it. I would have preferred a little broader. You know, like best smart home podcast.
Oh, sure.
Best podcast, just in general. Like I would have taken any of those. It's fine.
Sure.
We'll stick with best HomeKit one.
Right. All right, well, we actually got some news here. I've been messing around with a bunch of new Hue lights here in the studio. I'll change some colors in a minute. But we have new announcements. Hue announced some new stuff, including a new lamp, which is nice, a portable table lamp, in addition to new down lights, which very cool, ambient down lights, and it looks like a switch, a dial switch. You had the article, Andrew. Why don't you tell me a little more about this new Hue stuff?
Yeah, man, I'm excited for new Hue Day. Okay, so I got to go to their press conference and everything and see all their, not in person, but I got to see all their new stuff, and they got some really cool things. It wasn't their number one featured item, but I think it might be my favorite, is that new lamp they debuted. So this is a new table lamp. It isn't so high, like about a yay high, like a yay high height. Yeah. So just everyone listening, just about yay high. Yeah, it goes on your table, but it's battery powered, and it has a base that you would set it on, charges up in like 3 to 4 hours. Then you can pick it up and carry it around your house. And it's got like a little silicone cover right on the middle, so it feels very sturdy as you pick it up to move it around. And I believe you can get like almost like 2 days battery life out of this if you're using it on like the candle flicker mode. But if you're doing like a syncing into your audio, it's much shorter. You know, you'll get like a night out of it. But still, I think this is awesome. I love that you can have like a table lamp, pick it up, and carry it around. It reminds me of the Casper glow lights that would go by your bedside, and you can like twist them to brighten them or dim them, and you can pick them up and carry them, and like you can pick it up and like shake it, and the bottom turns on like you're carrying a little candle around. I think they're brilliant. But yeah, so I'm really excited about this new table lamp. I think it's a fantastic idea. It comes in white and black. Then, as you mentioned, there are new down lights. So these new like cam lights, down lights, whatever you want to call them. These guys are like twice the brightness, I think, as they were before. Like 50% brighter. And they come in both the white versions and the color versions. So all awesome. Cool. Let's see, what else did we mention? Oh, the track lighting system is insane. This, I think, is going to be huge for installations of Hue lights. There's new tracks that come in multiple sizes, and there are elbows to them so you can have them go at angles, and they have both wall mounts as well as ceiling mounts. So you can just snap on a bunch of spotlights, bar lights, all of this stuff that comes in on pendant lights, of course, if you want to dangle these over top of your island in your kitchen, if you want to put them in your dining room above your table. We had, especially at our old home, we had a ton of track lighting, and I actually had to buy like, because they had really small like special bulbs in there that Hue didn't support yet. So I had to go get fancy fixtures that would pop in, click into place, and then screw in standard Hue bulbs. But it wasn't ideal. Now Hue has all of this stuff figured out with actual Hue track lights. And I really like the vertical ones to put on your wall. There's some neat stuff that you can do with that. The one example they showed off in their video was putting a large track light above the headboard of your bar lights that'll go onto the track. And you can basically have it simulate these really awesome new sunrise, sunset scenes above your bed. That's crazy cool. But then beyond that, you can actually then clip on spotlights on either side of the headboard. So where you wouldn't necessarily have a mount before to put a light, you can snap in lights. So now you've got like this gradient light strip in the middle, and then 2 individual lights for either partner on either side of the bed. Like you're in a fancy hotel or something. This is so cool. So I'm excited about these. I mean, I think these are going to be big. This is one of the big things they've been missing in the Hue space. They have so many different bulbs. They've been working on these track lights for a while. I'm really excited about these. These are really cool.
Where can I see these anywhere?
That's a good question, Steven. While I Googled, the last thing that they announced in all of that is the new tap dial, which I think is interesting. And I'm a little confused, and I want to actually ask them about it. But the new one basically is an upgrade from the original tap switch. But what made the tap switch unique had 4 buttons, but it was all powered kinetically. Over just the press of a button would trigger it. And now, with this new change, it's running on a coin cell battery. So I'm kind of confused why they went away from the, but it does come in 2 different versions for European style switches and the taller American style switches. You can remove the tap from the mounting plate, like magnetically, so you can carry it around your house. And for the first time, they have a dial, so you can rotate it to adjust like the brightness of the room. So it does look better, it does work better. It's just a little bit of a bummer that you can't actually, that you have to replace the battery. The battery life is like 2 years, but I don't know. It was such a neat feature of the original one. I'm surprised they're like, yeah, this is the 2nd generation tap. So I'm like, is the first one going away? I just love that idea for sustainability and everything, that you just didn't need to ever charge it or anything. Correct. Just like all the other Hue switches, this switch is exposed to HomeKit. So you can have 4 different HomeKit control tied to there. I wouldn't say that a dial is tied into HomeKit, but I don't know until I test it. So at the moment, I just know that for sure the 4 buttons will be exposed to HomeKit.
Right. Gotcha. And I will put as the chapter art those track lights. Andrew sent a link. I'll put that in the show notes as well. But also this image looks very cool. I kind of love this.
I know. In our living room right now, we actually have a
I've added so many lighght already, but maybe I'll add some track lights because why not?
We don't use.
Why not have some more track
It's just very high up on the wall. And I honestly don't know what they had plugged in there before we had moved into this house. It's very oddly located. But I'm thinking like, man, if I just took that out, I could replace it with a vertical track light. We've already got the power supply there, super easy to tie it in. And boom, we got some sweet Hue lights in the living room.
That is pretty cool. One of the other things, too, is available, should be this month or later this month, the sign table lamp and floor lamp is going to come in oak. So before it was just white and black. Now you can actually get an oak finish, which is really nice. I actually have one. That's what that is right there. If you're watching youtube.com/HomeKit Insider, that little white pole there is the sign floor lamp. And I can even, here, watch this. If you go to the video, go to youtube.com/HomeKit Insider. I'm going to change the colors of that sign gradient. Look at that. You got green and teal and purple. So, yeah. I really like the sign lamps. They're pretty sweet. And you can follow up from last episode, as Andrew was saying, you can create scenes for the gradient lamps because you can't control gradients where you have multiple points of different colors. You can't control that directly in the HomeKit app, but you can create scenes for your Hue devices that are gradients and then trigger those scenes in HomeKit and do all that. Because another device, since we're staying on Hue, I actually got, I don't know if you could see it, I got the Hue gradient bar. It's called the gradient tube. And so I got the tube down there. And let me see if I could change that color if you're watching. And so you got purple. See, there's even more purple. We'll do all the purples today. So I got that the gradient tube, which is pretty nice. It's really, you can use it also behind a TV with, the Hue Play. And so I'm really considering that because I'm like, maybe I'll put that on the back of the TV. I have 2 Hue Play lights already on the TV, which I really like. So I'm thinking about it. Thinking about taking a $250 dip. I don't know. And then also Hue, I got the Hue Bloom. I don't know. You're not going to be able to see the Hue Bloom, but the Hue Bloom is also behind me. And if you're again watching, you can see kind of a light changing towards the bottom of the frame over my shoulder. Hue Bloom, and it's pretty fun. So yeah, I'm liking this. I'm liking the Hue stuff more and more. I'll be honest. It's pretty cool. So anyway, big day for Hue news. I like that Switch.
I think so.
I've really been. I talked about it. I think it was on last week or 2 weeks ago. But creating automations based on an accessory being controlled, like pressing one switch and it controls the whole room. Having physical controls that affect multiple devices is pretty sweet. I'll just say that. And so, using that Hue dial switch, I don't know, man. I'll be curious about that. That's supposedly available this month, also, right? June 2022. All right. Pretty cool. So lots of Hue stuff. And, also a new product. This is from our friends at SwitchBot. SwitchBot, you've heard us talk about them before. They make the fun robot fingers that can, click buttons and things. They also make the curtain rods and such. But before, their products have worked with Siri shortcuts, but not necessarily HomeKit. But that has changed because they now have a SwitchBot plug that is HomeKit compatible. This is the first SwitchBot product. They are now officially Apple HomeKit devices, and you can actually buy this on Amazon right now. I wasn't exactly sure when the embargo was, and apparently I showed this on last week's episode, and so maybe SwitchBot saw that and they were like, man, we'll just launch it. And so this is their new, might as well, I guess it's out there. So yeah, and it does, you can check power consumption and all that, and so This is the new SwitchBot Plug Mini. And it's pretty reasonable price. Let's see. It is
I have a problem with headphones.
For the SwitchBot HomeKit Smart Plug.
A lot of headphones.
Pretty cool. And then they actually sponsored this episode, so you're going to hear about SwitchBot a little later.
I just really like them.
New HomeKit plug available to you.
Really cool options out there. And I find it so hard.
Now let's see what else we got here. Now, okay, you have some interesting things down here. You have a grab bag of topics that no context.
These are
we should do it. You said cool new headphones.
These are the new Master and Dynamic MW75.
Tell me about your cool new headphones.
These things launched almost a week ago, actually, by the time you guys are hearing this.
Oh.
But these guys just went up. They were announced and they go on sale the 28th, June 28th. So super high-end premium headphones, similarly priced to AirPods Max. They have all aluminum cups, so they're ultra lightweight and durable, with tempered glass outsides that just have this polished look that are awesome. Memory foam cushions covered in lambskin, ultra comfortable. I've been wearing these for hours without any issues. Cool stuff new in this version. They have the automatic sensors for when they're putting on and off your head to pause your music for you. They have plenty of physical controls with tactile buttons. I love a good button. And you've got all the ones there to control media playback, volume, ANC modes, all of that on here without having to do some swipey gesture nonsense type things. It's all buttons, and they work really well. They have new automatic versions of ANC. What's going on around you? It has 8 onboard microphones, and they use 4 of these for ANC to balance it out automatically. They also have crazy good battery life with ANC turned on, you'll get 28 hours of listening time, and then you'll get 32 hours with the ANC turned off. So awesome battery life on these guys. Yeah, 75. The 65 are the last gen model. They came out in May of 2019. These are the MW75 that were just announced. They do have app connection, so you can also change the audio profile. So if you want something more bass heavy or audiophile tuned, improve performance, stuff like that. Yeah, I'm trying to think of what else was cool with these guys, but
well, and these are the MW65, right?
yes. Yep.
Oh, it's 75. Oh. Shoot. Okay. Wow. These are not... I'm looking on their website. These are not even listed on their website yet. Maybe by the time our listeners hear this episode, it will be there. But, yeah, okay. This sounds pretty serious. Now, here's my question. Because do they have an on-off button? Like, can you just turn them off?
Okay. And, like, my stuff will just connect
that has
to
been
them.
An increasingly...
Or the battery will just die. Because there
pain
is no
point
way to turn
for me with my
them
AirPods
off.
Max, because now that we moved into the new house, new studio and all that, I actually have, you can see it behind me. I don't know how to point. I have one of these like $35 like
I've seen
headphone
one,
stands.
but I think
And I think you have like the Grove made headphone stand, don't you? You put your AirPods Max on that thing? Yeah.
Before they went belly up.
He's about to get it. Look at that. Boom, right there. I love having, I've been using the AirPods Max more since they've just been sitting on the desk. Yeah. The issue that I run into is when they're just sitting there on the stand and they're not asleep. And I don't know if the Grove Made thing puts them to sleep.
I mean, I don't really use it all that often because I don't use
I like the stand; it looks nice. I use it more often, but that battery just drains slowly every day. So whenever I pick it up, it's like at 50 or 60%.
The idea being like it's great to take down to the beach or to the boat,
so
anything like that.
It's kind of I don't know. I like the AirPods Max. I like how they sound; they're comfortable. But I would just love an off button. I feel like of all the features, the Master Dynamic that you just went through,
margaritas and blend them up right there on the beach. It had a speaker that you could connect to. It was really neat. The best was like my biggest takeaway was like, okay, for a speaker, I'm going to prefer something like my Marshall ones. There's a couple.
I don't know of any
Emberton,
stands
Emberton
that
2 is coming
turn
out.
the
So excited
AirPods
for
Max,
it. But like something like that, like a
off.
small speaker, similar to what they had in there. Blenders, like you could get like a blend jet that would probably work.
Like that cooler,
which is like nice to have in one product, but none of them were the best of that product that they put into one place. So if you wanted like an all-in-one solution, cool. But if you want like a really good blender, a really good speaker, whatever,
did you for real? So wait a minute.
Singular
doesn't it? It's got like a blender and
how much money they raised.
Sorry, this is now Cooler Cast.
The whole company ended up going belly up, and a lot of people
talking about Kickstarter coolers.
And I believe what happened is like with Kickstarter, you don't get the money
is actually good,
right until the campaign is done. So they're trying to kind of do stuff ahead of time, and they get into production, and they put all this money into production, and they don't have all of the products yet. Like to start, ones that they did have done, they started selling through retailers such as Best Buy. Then you have all these angry Kickstarter backers that like people can go into a Best Buy and like buy a coolest cooler where they're still waiting for their Kickstarter ones, but they were at least able to make some money on those POs from Best Buy and. It ended up with a bunch of people who were mad, a bunch of people canceling like their orders and going and buying them over there, and it was just a huge mess. They could not get things sorted out, and they went belly up. So one of the biggest like failures in crowdfunding history, right there. But I got one sitting somewhere. One of these out, I was like, sure. Nice.
Yeah. And yes.
I love that the URL is like, it's like coolest cooler, 21st century cooler. That's actually, and I don't know how they finished that sentence.
Right.
But whatever it is wrong. Like, that actually exists? No. Yes. Correct. Right. Basically, for a lot of people. For much.
Right. Right. Right.
We'll see. I don't think they're necessarily going to do it still right away. I mean, we haven't gotten a new set of pros yet. So I don't think they're going to drop a new set of pros and a new set of Macs at the same time. The Macs, I think, could use a little bit more time. And especially their premium products are refreshed, I think, less regularly. You know, something like the Mac Pro, AirPods Max, things like that. I just think they're too...
Wait, so did you did it on Kickstarter, or did you go to Best Buy?
Apple to upgrading too soon, and the hardware, everything is still fine. Like, the biggest thing is just annoy this.
So yeah, I'm putting the Kickstarter page is still live.
Maybe if
so
we
I put
actually
it in
get
the
that
show notes if our
lossless,
listeners want to see it.
that
they
you've heard Apple was
raised
working on their own codec that would enable lossless audio.
Their original goal was just $50,000.
Maybe if that's a thing,
and
Apple wants to embrace that,
this feels like forever ago.
If that's even a possibility.
The estimated delivery for coolers was supposedly December 2014,
the Sony XM5s and the AirPods Max. The ANC so far, it's really good. I haven't tried them on a flight yet. By the time
yes, this is one of those tragic stories.
But in my simulated testing, I think the XM5s are still a little bit better in the ANC department. So. We'll see, but they actually have better drivers than the Sonys do. So these are
that's actually
40 millimeter beryllium drivers.
That's actually vaporware.
The AirPods Max
this
also have 40
vaporware.
Millimeter drivers, and
there's a greater chance.
Sonys have 30.
You have a better chance of getting a Cybertruck than you do a coolest cooler right now in 2022. So anyway, yeah. All right, well, those are cool. The links to the MW75 headphones in there. And, I'm curious. Let me ask you this. Do you think Apple's going to do AirPods Max Generation 2 this year? There were some rumors that they might refresh the AirPods Max. Right. True. Right. Yeah.
Yeah, there's a couple of beta bugs, of course, that we run into, which are always fun. And I've had two that have been predominantly happening to me in this first beta that, are annoying. So just kind of words of warning for anybody out there who is still considering. These are at least happening with beta 1. But two things. One is automations don't run, depending on the home hub. So, I have one Apple TV updated to tvOS 16, and it was my primary home hub, and next thing I know, my shades aren't opening in the morning, and it took me a little while to figure out why, and I unplugged that, switched it to something else, and boom, it worked again. So, cool. And it turns out I had other people suggesting and saying the same thing, that after updating, cool. That's cool. Another thing is when I'm asking Siri to do things, a common one for me is Siri, turn on the basement lights. And now that's what she'll tell me. Even though I said basement, But what I think is more frustrating
link in the show notes to that if you want to be notified about those.
Rooms. Steven, check this out.
Now,
iOS 16. She understood what I said. Turn off the basement lights. It's like, okay, which room?
iOS 16
bathroom,
iPad.
kitchen,
William Gallagher,
default room.
also at AppleInsider. He's running on his iPhone.
Why?
He's a braver.
And I scroll down, and there's
but when it comes to automations and things like that, it looks like Angel's running into issues. I will say, because I just have it on my
It wasn't even one of the options.
I've not been running into
there was
too
like
many
5
issues.
Rooms out of my,
but I also don't
10
create
or 20
automations
or something.
in iPadOS 16.
So I'm like, where do
I would
you
just
get
say
these
word of
from?
warning. If you're running the betas everywhere, maybe not do like critical home
sometimes
changes
I have to
and
make sure I'm
automations
using my
on the
HomePod
beta
or something
device, to
control. And yes,
I realized like with some of the new icons,
message me on Twitter,
there's like new icons for devices and scenes in iOS 16.
And the steps
I
have
started
been
using some of those new
and
icons,
things will be,
but realized it was like
fixed.
messing up the icons on my not iOS 16 devices. Like it was then just using like random light bulbs for different things. So again, be careful if you're running the beta on some devices, not on others, and making those big changes. But when it comes to automations in iOS 16, I don't know. You have a command here, and it looks like an expletive. I can't really tell what it is. So what's going on? What happened with your automations? Yes. Right. Right. Okay. Which room? Oh, my word. Listen, Siri. Was basement one of the options? Oh. Yeah. So be careful. Yeah. Yes. Yes.
Yeah, I'm so excited about this. So we have 2 raised garden beds.
Tis the
in
season
the
for bugs.
Tomatoes,
now, you have a new Eve Aqua thing, that new setup you want to talk about. Real quick, I just want to mention.
Wasn't my favorite.
I have an Eve water guard.
Fail over
not the
time,
thread version. It's actually the previous version. So we're moving into Eve now.
Kept popping up,
and
there'd be like
since we've been moving, it's been sitting in storage for the past year.
Shooting just
and I wasn't really sure how it would do, if it was still working and all that. But I said, you know what? Let me set it up. And so I got my Eve water guard again. This is the thing that will detect water leaks, and it has like that rope type thing that has a headphone jack connector. And if that rope gets wet, then that's when it will warn you.
This was not
Put it in my garage because we have this kind of elaborate water filter system in the garage. And there's one thing that was dripping at first. When it was first installed, the guy came out, tightened it up or whatever. But I was like, you know what? I'm going to put this under that, have the little rope across, and just see, in case there's ever another leak, it'll warn me. But again, I didn't know if this Eve water guard was really active or working or whatever. So I set it up, put a little rope under there, and sure enough, a couple days later, a crazy alarm. I didn't realize the Eve water guard
right?
yells at you when there's a water leak, because when I've used the Akara things, and I had that story of when my son was washing dishes and got it wet, you get the alert on your phone, and it's, making a sound or whatever. But the actual Akara water guard or water leak sensor.
You may not be a farmer.
It didn't make a very loud noise. I can't even remember.
They
what
drink water.
But the Eve water guard is loud. I mean, it sounded like an alarm was going
or something like that,
and so it was very clear that it had detected something. It took me a second to think, what is that sound?
So running an Eve Aqua now, basically
went to the garage. Sure enough, the thing had dripped like 2 or 3 times
hose connector
on the little rope,
custom
and
PVC
it freaked out.
Setup
and the Eve water guard caught it and notified me. You can mute the alarm
fully
in
done
the Eve
because
app.
I don't have it
So I went over there, muted
yet,
the alarm, but it will still show water leak detected.
I was so excited.
And I went online to see, how do you reset this?
Camera, you got this.
And at least with the Eve water guard, you don't reset it. You actually just leave it alone, and if it actually dries,
that's the
and
first bed.
No water is detected anymore, it will reset the status on its own. So I trusted the process, and sure enough, about the next day or maybe 2 days later, it no longer showed water leak detected. Everything dried up, the rope was dry, and now it's ready to go again.
Steven,
so if it detects another few drops of water, it'll actually go off. It's not in like that permanent leak detected state like I had on some other devices.
Straight
so
out,
Eve Water Guard, 2 thumbs up, works great, resets like you expect it to.
I moved up a couple of drill bits and redid them
thumbs
all.
Up on Eve Water
so that way there was a little
bit
more water, and they would arc appropriately with the water pressure.
Now you have an Eve Aqua, which is what you can
every
use
single morning
for
at sunrise.
Irrigation. You connect it to a
it'll
hose.
Come on for like
what
a
kind
minute
of new setup you got going
and
on?
Sprinkle all the flowers and all the plants in there. And yeah, I'm very excited about it. It took a while to get like all the parts. I kept forgetting like one piece of PVC. Like go all the way back for one more piece of PVC. I'm like, I forgot an elbow, and I just kept.
To the moon, Alice.
Yeah, everything's good. I had a multitude of issues in all these connections because there's like 30 failure points and things, right?
Oh.
And I did manage to get it all solved, but it was just a different combination of fittings and things. Like there was no fault on the Eve Aqua. What one of my initial issues was, I have really high water pressure, so we had gotten like these like higher pressure hoses, and part of that they use larger fittings. They were just like taller, so they would still fit into your standard hose. They would still connect together, but they were larger. So some things like the Eve Aqua has shallower skid. So according to the plumber that I had talked to, like that gasket is essentially what is doing all your water blocking. So if that is not being squished appropriately, you're going to have stuff leak.
Did you say chicken water?
So it was just a matter of switching it to a
okay, I didn't know if that was water the chickens are drinking or some kind of water that is produced with chicken DNA. Like I was sorry.
Before it goes through the Eve
I wasn't
Aqua,
sure,
so
like,
it didn't get
is
stuck
this
in
water
there, and,
like dirty water? Like you have to change the chicken water?
And
I don't know. Sorry, I'm not a farmer.
Just fit perfectly, no leaks whatsoever. Everything is golden.
I wasn't sure. Chicken water. I just never heard that phrase together, like chicken water. But yeah, it makes sense. Chicken's got to drink water. Sure. Sure.
Yeah, where the Eve Aqua was, but where my main water supply was, I was having some drips from where the spigot was. It was like the secondary fitting. And I was getting alerts through my Fin water sensor that's like connected to my kitchen sink, and it monitors the water pressure in your home for irregularities and regular low water pressure and stuff like that. I'm like, what's going on? This is crazy.
Oh, yeah.
And I would turn it off, and all of a sudden those alerts stop. So I'm like, okay, this leak is what is doing that.
Refuses.
And since I've made these changes...
Hey, there we go. Oh, my goodness. Wow.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Well, even before that,
this is elaborate.
There was a listener question relating to the Eve Aqua that we both got emailed last night, and I figure I actually went back and forth a few times with him about this, and essentially it was from, who sent this to us? This is buried in my emails already. There, Joseph Albanese. Yeah, he sent you. You were copied on the email, but basically he wants to be able to add a shortcut to like his home screen for his father to be able to turn his Eve Aqua on. Because right now his dad's going out there and pressing the button, turning on manually. Just a hassle. Nobody wants to do that. And so my first thought was like, okay, this is easy as peasy. You just create like a scene or automation, and you add convert it to a shortcut, and then you convert it to a shortcut, and then you can add your shortcut to the home screen. Cool, done. And I'm like, boom, signed off. And the next thing I know, he sends me another email. What? You know, like, boom.
Sure.
Well, it was like a mixture of like marking it off on the board and like
fancy.
the pop,
and
but
you
I
are
couldn't do it with my left hand.
The handyman. You're over there doing chicken water, giving water to the chickens. You're giving water to the strawberries and tomatoes.
In the home app,
that
you
is
cannot
impressive.
Add auto.
I still have my Eve Aqua too. I've been waiting to kind of figure out how to do it. Now, let me ask you this: we talked about this many shows ago,
or scenes,
but the Eve Aqua that you are now using in this
on a schedule and stuff like that.
You have managed to tighten it or use enough like rings and stuff
this for a little bit, but we finally found a way to do this,
so it doesn't leak.
And the way that I came up with
or whatever,
is if you go into
when the Eve Aqua has shut off and it's holding back the water. Like
you can go down to the bottom and it'll say like 0 automation, 0 scenes if you're like default settings. So I created it. I tapped on that and created a new scene. I just named it like water and stuff. And once you have a scene created there, you can actually have it turn on. So you can create that scene there in the Eve app instead. Then when you go into the home app in that room, you should see that new scene appear. So then, now the scene was created and I confirmed it existed in HomeKit, I went back to the Shortcuts app, then created a shortcut action there that would trigger my HomeKit scene. So now I have just a simple shortcut that triggers watering stuff, and then you can add that to your home screen. So Joseph he said he tried this, he created 2, one for that we actually found a way to do it.
Okay. Right. Okay.
Sorry, could you say that?
I wasn't even talking. I don't even know how that happened.
Sure. Wow. That's awesome, because that was a challenge. Again, I didn't really try a bunch of different fittings.
I don't know.
But a lot of times,
as long as the Aqua was
open,
like,
the water would flow.
And that have my door lock in it, and I run it from the home pod all the time.
Aqua would try to close off that water is when you get some drippings.
Like
or
my
whatever,
goodnight scene.
You want to be able to leave the water open, so the Aqua is what's actually controlling it. Because if you go out there and have to loosen the thing for water to come out, it kind of defeats the purpose. So that is cool.
Okay, as everyone is listening to this, I will be back from vacation. We were talking, I get a lot of my family who are like, oh, you're going on vacation. And I don't know about you, Steven, but I love doing this stuff for AI. This is, an incredible job to have. But there is no such thing as vacation. We have a video schedule to fill. And, if I'm gone for 3 days, I was gone Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. As I'm recording this, I haven't gone yet. But
That's
is
pretty sweet.
Stressful.
All right, well, I'll put links
it is
to both the Eve
so
Water
much
Guard and Eve
to do. I have to do those entire 3 days of work on top of these 2 days of work, and getting them Monday and Tuesday.
Connectivity,
so
especially with those outside things. because
filling
depending on
this
the
schedule
materials
full
of
of
your
content
home,
for all of
Wi-Fi
our
signals
lovely
struggle sometimes to
audience
get
out
through some
there.
blocks and
And
things like
here I
that.
am
So
doing
thread versions
this
always nice to have on
right
those.
now. You and I.
All right,
I'm
so our final thing.
fun.
You got
Like,
a
I
note
thought
in
we
here
were gonna have
talking
like
about. Okay. Oh, sorry, yeah. Who sent it? I don't know if I saw this. Oh, Joseph. Okay.
I know. It's just crazy. Like, I mean, it's been, normal stuff. We're getting ready for baby stuff. And, throwing in a vacation, it's just like really pile stuff on.
No.
Yeah. Yeah. So one thing I had, Steven, I forgot. This isn't even on our notes. This is actually back to like home iOS related. I have not seen this reported yet. I could be breaking this, or
you were
people
trying
all
to do
knew
the,
it, and
the
I
pop
didn't
thing
know
with your
this
mouth,
already.
and so for
Okay.
our audio listeners, I don't know if they heard that. That was a
my
strange sound.
Siri have a new suggestion for an app.
Let me
based
just give
on my location.
Let me give our audio
in
listeners
my
a real
home.
pop here.
And I'm not talking about based on
there we go.
location.
All right, I just wanted to make...
Whenever I show up at the bar or something like that, it'll pop up like Untapped or something. But I'm talking like if I walk into my studio, it's like you usually open this app in this location in your home.
Automations.
Because it tells you. So one of the examples is when I open TikTok because based on location in your home. So are they using the proximity to your other devices, your HomePods, your Apple TVs? Because it already does those based on proximity for, bringing up media controls. It already knows when you're in your living room watching something because the media controls will pop up on your screen. So now is it taking that and giving you app suggestions?